Building my Jarvis. I think every geek who's watched an Ironman movie has looked at Jarvis and thought to themselves, I want that. I've earlier made videos on large language models, private chatbots, and scientific agents. I've linked those in a playlist, but today I want to focus on personal AI assistants. But I'll start out with my offline smart home. I've chosen to build my smart home around Home Assistant. It requires no cloud services, and that means that my data can stay private, and that it also works without internet. It is nice to still be able to control your lights if the internet goes down. Everything is controlled over Zigbee, light bulbs, presence sensors, none of it is connected to my Wi-Fi network. And that has the added advantage that it avoids many of the usual Internet of Things risks. They are not connected to the internet, they can't do anything. Another important component of my AI setup is self-hosted LLMs. I'm using Ollama for hosting LLMs. There are many other options, but Ollama has the advantage that it is probably the most broadly supported by other softwares that I want to have work with it. Ollama has fairly been facing a lot of criticism recently. This comes down to things like not acknowledging the other open source softwares like Llama CPP that it's based upon, going more in the venture capital direction, and also now offering cloud-hosted LLMs. I am using it only to host open weight models. Specifically, I'm using two, Gemma 4, which gives me more natural speech than Qwen 3.6, which allows me to do more stringent logical analysis and coding. This is the foundation for my private AI assistants. I'm using OpenClaw as my agent harness. There are other options, but whatever you choose, you need a harness to provide the long-term memory functionality for your agents, give them access to agent skills, and, in my case, set up multiple agents that can have different roles, use different models, have different instructions in the form of system prompts, and importantly, access to different skills. My main agent is my butler, Jarvis. That agent is able to control Home Assistant. It can do information retrieval. That means fetch information on events, news, weather, whatever I'm asking about. And is configured to give me fast, concise answers. I have a second agent that is a social media expert. It has access to YouTube APIs, which means that it can look at channel analytics, trend analysis, come up with video ideas for me. And my third assistant is an intelligence analyst. It has access to a more powerful large language model. It's configured with open source intelligence tools and has access even to things like Tor onion services, that is the dark web. This one is configured not to give short, concise answers, but rather to compile comprehensive reports for me. I can interact with all of these assistants in an interactive, real-time fashion. That is done through Telegram primarily. This gives me a convenient chat interface that gives encrypted communication with the agents across multiple different devices with the conversations being synchronized. Each agent is configured as a separate Telegram bot, and those bots only respond to me, making it a fairly safe setup. However, it is not end-to-end encrypted. I would have liked to have that, but I have yet to find a better alternative that provides that, combined with synchronization across devices and working with OpenClaw. What I'm more excited about, though, is having proactive assistants, so assistants that actually do things for me without me asking for it. To accomplish that, I now store all my notes in Obsidian. Obsidian is a note-taking tool that behind the scenes uses directories with markdown files. And that means that my agents every night can look through my notes, see what's new, what's changed, and perform related research and compile their own notes, adding them to Obsidian. I'm combining this with Syncthing, which is a software that gives me access on all devices to both my own notes and the agent's notes. Now, it wouldn't be Jarvis if it wasn't a voice assistant, right? So for that reason, I needed smart speakers in my rooms. I decided to go with ESP32 S3 audio devices, which are quite affordable, have dual microphone array picking up voice well, and a decent speaker, so it's not a problem to understand what it's saying back. I would not use them for music though. Because it's ESP32 based, it can run ESPHome, which means that it works with Home Assistant, and it also provides on-device wake words, such as this one that I shall not say out loud. Once it's listening, speech-to-text is provided by NVIDIA Parakeet, a 600 million parameter model that is extremely fast and very accurate. The transcript is sent to my AI butler agent running under OpenClaw, which can then execute actions, for example via the Home Assistant API, and compose an answer. That answer needs to go through text-to-speech. For that I'm using Kokoro. It's a 32 million parameter model with surprisingly high quality voices, such as British male George, which is what I'm using. In summary, I've managed to set up an AI-enabled smart home with personal AI assistants and retain my privacy. The price is a fairly complicated self-hosting setup. I am satisfied with my Jarvis, but there is room for improvement, and I have concrete ideas. I would like to give Jarvis eyes, having it be able to see through the cameras I have installed in my home, and I'd like to add more agent skills to make it more useful. However, I am aware that this topic is somewhat outside the usual scope of my YouTube channel, so I'd like to hear from you. Are you interested in more videos on this topic? Would you like to hear more technical details, or maybe actual use cases for AI personal assistants? Let me know in the comments. That's all I wanted to say about this today. If you want to learn more about how to use AI also in your work, take a look at this playlist next. Thanks for your attention.